too would like to welcome this legislation, and I think it's a very positive move. I think it's important that we do facilitate people whose businesses have collapsed or who have unsustainable personal debts to make a fresh start and to be able to contribute to the economy again. I also note that the bill includes increased penalties in case of non-cooperation and fraud, and I think it's right to have that balance for people who are genuinely cooperating, who want to rebuild their lives, that support that, while also having disincentives for people who might try to take advantage of the situation. I note as well that the bill is in line with the recommendations of the Oireachtas Justice Committee, which considered this issue in depth. I've read their report. They received over 122 submissions, most of which were in favour of reduction to 1 year. Reducing it to 1 year will aid not just the individuals concerned, but also aid the recovery of the state by enabling people who are caught up in bankruptcy to become positive contributors to the economy again. It should hopefully as well encourage financial institutions to engage more with debtors and reach meaningful solutions prior to bankruptcy, so that people don't have to take the nuclear option if financial institutions engage better with them in the first place. It would bring Ireland into line with other countries, as was said, such as the UK and Northern Ireland, where the bankruptcy term is 1 year. It has been unfair that some people, if they were in a position to do so, have been able to go to the UK and to have their bankruptcy discharged within a year, while others who haven't been able to do so have been stuck here in Ireland and not been able to avail of that opportunity. So I think it's only fair that everybody should be subject to the same term. And I think it is also important to recognise that businesses fail. As Senator Mooney referred to the state and the entrepreneurial culture that's there, and this notion that you're not really a business person unless you've failed at least once or twice before hitting your big idea. But certainly we need to encourage greater entrepreneurship in Ireland, to encourage people to take the risks of setting up businesses and not be overly punitive and not feel that they'll lose everything and be left in this bankruptcy limbo for years if they fail. However, I would say, Minister, that there is also a lot more that needs to be done to increase support for small businesses. I think we're very good as a country at attracting foreign direct investment and bringing in big jobs from big multinational companies into Ireland, but I suppose it's great if a multinational company brings 500 jobs into this state. That's fantastic, but if they decide to pull out, that's 500 jobs gone overnight in one enterprise. I think to build a more sustainable economy and also to ensure employment opportunities right around the state, not just in key hubs. We need to support small businesses. Indeed, small and medium enterprises are already our greatest employer, and often that's lost when we talk about foreign direct investment and how good Ireland is in export manufacturing and in areas like that. We should remember that the backbone of our economy is the small and medium enterprise. But we still have quite punitive tax and social welfare arrangements for small businesses. I know there was some movement on that in the budget, but there is a need to ensure equalisation there. I think it's very unfair that people and small businesses have to pay a higher tax, and it's also unfair that they're left then with no entitlement whatsoever to job seekers payment when things go wrong. I've dealt with several cases over the last few years of people who had worked hard to build up their businesses, who, when times got tough, did everything they could to keep it going and make sure that they could pay their staff wages, often many of them not taking any income home themselves, just so they could keep on loyal employees that had been with them for years. But ultimately they couldn't save the business and the business went to the wall. Their employees were entitled to social welfare, they weren't. I think that's very, very unfair, and it's something that needs to be looked at. I'd just like to raise one concern, Minister, in relation to the bill, and it relates to the transition period. And I'd appreciate if you could clarify this in your response. I understand that the bill provides that for those who are already in the bankruptcy process, that they will have to wait a further 6 months, a transition period, before they can be discharged. This potentially would lead to up to 1,000 existing bankrupts falling due for their debts to be discharged on a single date 6 months after the passing of the legislation. At least that is the concern that has been raised with me. I'd like you to clarify if that is the case, if all of these people will have to wait 6 months, full 6 months, and if then they'll all fall to be considered at the same time. Obviously that would put a huge burden on the ISI, and I don't know how they would deal with that. There's potential there for these processes being delayed, or if the ISI can use the 6 month period to discharge those people on a staggered basis. So can it start immediately, bringing some people out of bankruptcy and ensuring that within the 6 months all 1,000 people have, or will it have to wait the full 6 months before starting, because it certainly appears to me, Minister, that if it is the case that they have to wait, I think that's potential for huge logjam, and it's unfair on those, some of whom have been in the process already for years and have more than passed the 1 year requirement that will now be in the bill. They've passed that several times over while waiting to be discharged. I understand that the transitional period of 6 months was provided previously when the term was brought down to 3 years, but there weren't as many people then that were hitting the threshold at one time as there will be when this legislation comes into place. So I'd appreciate your clarification on that, please.
Senator Hayden.